All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started this afternoon. And so I want to say greetings and welcome to the Women's Forest Congress. Today, we will experience an art of experiences as we inspire, empower, and build each other up. I am Dr. Antamia Farrell, and I am the Assistant Dean and Director for Diversity at the University of Kentucky College of Agriculture, Food, and Environment. And I am serving as the immediate past president for the National Society of Manners, also known as Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences. Today, I'm zooming in from Shawnee, Cherokee, Chickasaw, and Osage lands, and known by many as the state of Kentucky. I am thrilled to serve as your facilitator again today. Today, we have 288 registrants from at least 12 countries around the world. That is something to be very proud of. I would like to know who we have attending in today's session. So if you are just joining us and have not shared in the chat box, please introduce yourself and let us know where you are joining from. As we get started today, I'd love to know who's joining us for the first time. So if you are joining us for the first time today, please put a thumbs up reaction or put yes in the chat box, because we would love to acknowledge the first timers today. We have Alicia, Emily, Terry, welcome. Awesome. Awesome. Keep them coming in. We would also like to welcome those who are joining us yet again. And we are just very inspired and happy that you are joining us to continue the work of the Women's Forest Congress. As we engage today, I ask that we create a space for all participants. We are celebrating women today, but we know that it takes allies from different backgrounds to inspire, build, and empower. I ask that today be a day to celebrate the glass ceilings that women from across the world have shattered. To ensure an inclusive and accessible space for all, we have 2 American Sign Language interpreters for the duration of the event. We have Liz Health and Katie Sartoris, who will be joining us today. They will be taking turns interpreting in ASL and will be pinned at the top of your Zoom screen for the duration of the session. We also have closed captioning that is also available. I want to let you know that the chat box will be available to put any questions or comments that you have. Again, we want to create a safe space for you all, and know that we will be monitoring all comments for the duration of the session. And most importantly, please make sure that you are on mute unless you are speaking. The Women's Forest Congress has an active social media platform. We have Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Connect to our Women's Forest Congress network to share your positive experience from today. You can tag Women's Forest Congress and use the hashtag #WeAreWFC in all of your posts. And be sure to join the Women's Forest Congress networking group on LinkedIn. We have the fantastic artists from Urban Wild Studio capturing the event today with visual graphics. We will get a sneak peek throughout the session and at the end of the session. We have intentional goals outlined for our session today. Over the last 2 sessions, our goal has been to build a sense of community amongst the Women's Forest Congress. March 8th, we had a phenomenal session as we celebrated International Women's Day. We had speakers who shared their journeys as women, And the session was so inspiring. And on June the 8th, our session focused on networking and moving the Women's Forest Congress forward. And so today, we will focus on three components. First, we will introduce the framework for the 2022 in-person meeting. You heard me right, ladies, in person. We will finally not be Zooming in. We have 5 things that we will be focusing on, and they are leadership for equity and inclusion, workforce opportunities for increasing recruitment, retention, and leadership, women as catalysts for change, addressing today's greatest forest challenges, and supporting each other. Secondly, we will inspire, empower, and build the Women's Forest Congress community today moving forward. And lastly, but certainly important, we will focus on our attention on the path to the in-person Congress in 2022. You will want to stay tuned until the end of the session today to hear when and where the Women's Forest Congress will be held in person in 2022. Now, I will turn it over to Deb Hawkinson, President at Forest Resources Association and member of the Women's Forest Congress Advisory Council, to share remarks on why women in the forest sector and community is so important, and to introduce the final mission, vision, and purpose of the Women's Forest Congress. Deb, I'm going to turn it over to you.
I think I'm muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Farrell. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today. And I just love your enthusiasm. I think you're such a brilliant person to kick us off and help facilitate the discussion today. And I want to thank all of the participants that have joined the call. We've got a fantastic group of speakers that are prepared to share their experiences and lessons that they've learned along the way. And I'm excited to hear about how they got where they are today, and also just learn from each of you as you share remarks and as we go throughout the program today. I'm excited to see so many participants, and I know in this high-paced world and all the jobs that we have, it's hard to fit everything in. So I'm inspired that so many of you have made this event a priority, and I believe it bodes well for the future of our industry. So as many of you know, and for those of you joining us for the first time, the purpose of the Women's Forest Congress is to elevate women's diverse perspectives and collective expertise to develop strategies and solutions to address the most pressing, current, and forthcoming challenges for forests and women, and to advocate for the most compelling opportunities for women in the forest community as they arise. I've spent most of my adult working life working in the forest products industry, and I know this mission is critical for the future of our industry. Forest and forest products touch all of our lives, and it impacts of the forest affect not just our livelihoods, but also the quality of our life, health, safety, individually, collectively, and within our families and communities. We at the Women's Forest Congress, or WFC, believe an increased involvement of women in forestry is an essential strategy to ensure solutions being developed have the breadth of knowledge that can only come from women having a seat at the table. This dynamic is how forests can be everything they are capable of being for today's needs and generations to come. We live in a complex world with tremendous demands on businesses to tackle challenges, identify opportunities, and it's the people that drive a business to succeed. It's the people, it's the relationships. It's people from diverse backgrounds that can work in an inclusive and conducive environment. It's so important that they feel secure and happy. They feel valued and they perform at their best when all these things come together. This is the environment that one should strive for, the equality, the diversity, and respect for all participants. That's what we need to cultivate wherever we are working. Equality in a diverse workplace ensures people are given equal opportunities, equal pay, and are accepted for their differences. Equality ensures removing any chances of discrimination in the workplace. However, it should come as no surprise to anyone working in the forest products industry that women are underrepresented in decision-making, policy choices, and other various activities that impact forest and forest resources. Today, the forest sector in the United States is overwhelmingly male. And this lack of diversity is being taken seriously by the many forestry male leaders that I work with every day. They know this is an issue, and they know it for good reason. A McKinsey & Company 2020 Women in the Workplace research shows that company profits and share performance can be close to 50% higher when women are represented at the top. Beyond that, senior level women have a vast and meaningful impact on the culture where they work. And for that matter, in my view, all women have a vast and meaningful impact. And we're all in leadership roles wherever we are. But in this study, they're targeting senior level women. And they also note, McKinsey in this 2020 study, that before COVID, women in the workplace research had consistently found that women and men leave their workplace at comparable rates. However, due to the challenges created by COVID-19 crisis, as many as 2 million women are considering leaving the workforce. I find that very concerning, as I know many of you do as well. If women leaders leave the workforce, women at all levels could lose their most powerful allies and champions, and industry as a whole will suffer. This is especially true in forestry, where women professionals are already underrepresented. And this is an area where I have a lot of passion. Women's perspective profoundly impacts the future of forests and the surrounding community. These professionals are dynamic, intelligent, passionate, have a strong sense of awareness, mindful, take responsibility, and make equality a reality. I want to tap into these talents. My hope is forestry leaders across the country create the atmosphere that is needed for diverse women to succeed and remain in the workplace. We believe that the Women's Forest Congress will play a unique role as a place for women to come together and share their personal and professional experiences with the broader forestry industry, from land to consuming mills and all the organizations in between that support this vast community. The relationships formed at Women's Forest Congress will nurture a safe and inclusive environment to develop strategies and solutions on the most pressing issues of the forest sector. Interest and passion for shaping the latest innovations with a female perspective can profoundly impact the future of forests. And the end goal is to create more opportunities for women to succeed in directing and forming policies for the betterment of forestry in the long run. I'm proud to be a member of the advisory council of this critical organization. I believe in its mission and purpose and vision. And over the summer months, the steering committee has been working to develop that mission and vision. They've involved the advisory council for our input. And I believe the outcome, and I think you will too, provides a clear summation of the work the Women's Forest Congress was established and intends to accomplish. I invite you to take time to review these statements and learn more about why we are doing what we are doing. And I believe we've got some slides that will come up here shortly that we can take a moment and spend some time looking at. But I'd also like to invite you to join our efforts by becoming a member if you are not. You are all welcomed, and we are here to help encourage you, provide you with the tools to help you excel. Our membership form can be found on the website, and if you're already a member, I'd like to ask you to take some time to consider how we can better serve you or how you can better take advantage of all we have to offer. I know I'm excited about the mentorship program that's taking place and taking shape now. And I'm looking forward to what's in store for our future. So again, thank you for taking the time to join, and let's get ready to be inspired by our speakers, Kelly and Alicia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Deb. And I just love to see how the Women's Forest Congress has evolved over this last year. And it's so good to see that through now we have a true mission and vision of an organization. And we know without the mission and vision, an organization is kind of null and void. And so we know and see that our organization is moving forward. So thank you, Deb, advisory board members, for working on that and moving us forward as an organization.
Amazing. You can find hundreds of epic deals
So before we move on, I'd love folks to join our word cloud and describe for us the future of forest in one word. And so you will see on the screen here, if you join at slido.com and then put the number 028828 in there, then it would populate and allow you to put in 1 or 2 words that describe the future of forest. Urban. And there's also a QR code up there as well, if you have a phone in order to scan it. Critical, dynamic, partialization, complex, adaptive, resilient, dynamic is popping up, resilient is popping up. Many folks are saying resilient, dynamic, evolving, adaptive, critical, beautiful, women, progress, change, beautiful, essential, divine, agile, solution, indigenous owned, equity, fire, okay, crisis solution, whole, keep them coming, inclusive, respectful, collaborative, healthy, infrastructure, awesome, necessary, multi-dimensional, feminine, carbon, creative, integral, life, nuanced, life-giving. Okay, well, thank you all so much for participating in that.